What's up everybody, Tech Chucker here, and today I've got a review of the Articulated Icons Feudal series Basic Ninja in Black. Now this is a really cool figure. It's pretty much the exact same thing as the Red Ninja, but black, obviously. And it's got a few more articulation issues, namely some loose joints. So let's go ahead and crack this thing open and take a closer look. Okay, so articulation-wise, there's not a huge number of issues, but the couple of issues that are there are kind of big on this one, and it kind of bugs me. But let's go ahead and take a look at it, and I'll note it when we get there. So his head is on a ball peg with a hinge, just like all the others, and he can look up about this far, maybe a little bit more if you kind of push it hard. The other head sculpt goes just a little bit further, just because it doesn't have that little knot in the back, but not too bad. And then he's able to push that chin pretty close to all the way down into his chest, which is good. Good side-to-side motion, no real issues with that. And then just a little bit of, tilt within that head as well, which isn't bad. In the shoulders, he's got a ball hinge, which works really good. And he's got full rotation of that arm, which is awesome. He's got a bicep swivel, and it's nice and tight. Works pretty good. Double jointed elbows, those work great. I love these. They did a great job executing these. They're nice and tight. I like it. Moving into the wrists, it's those tiny little ball hinges. They do work pretty good, but I've said it a million times. I feel like they're a little bit delicate. There we go. Now we got it going. But they work. Okay, moving down into the torso. I still haven't really figured out exactly what this joint is. So if somebody knows, let me know in the comments. I can go look it up too. But he really doesn't have much for range of motion going forward. Even if you really, really push it, which I'm really trying, and it's not going very far. He does have pretty good back arch. That works pretty good. It does spring back, so you don't get all of that range of motion, and you still see that little hole. Not any side-to-side tilt, but he can swivel side-to-side, which is great. He has then that other waist swivel, which works really, really well. This one is not nearly as tight and springy feeling as the other two, so clearly something's up with the other two. The hips, he's got T-jointed ball joints, and obviously we've seen this before on the other ones, because it's the same body mold, and I am completely pleased with it because look at this. I mentioned it before, but Jean-Vlad, what is it? Oh crap, now I can't even say it. Bloodsport. Just Bloodsport. So he can do the splits, feet flat on the floor. That's pretty awesome. Well, pretty flat on the floor. There we go. That's awesome. You can't ask for too much more than that. All right, so how far up can he kick that leg? He can get his leg up and above his hips, which is awesome. Over time, I understand it, these hips will loosen just a little bit so that they don't spring down, so you'll get that full range. But backwards, they really don't kick far. The upper thigh cut is the issue. This thing is really loose. He's got double jointed knees. Those work really good. And then he's got a shin cut, which works pretty good, or a boot cut. That's getting a little bit loose, but not too bad. And then in the ankle, he's got a hinge joint. Goes back great. Goes forward good. Not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that. And then the ankle rocker works well. And these are loose on this figure also. I mean, look at how loose. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but it's really loose. So overall, we know that the articulation's solid. It's good in concept. In execution, at least on this figure, it's not nearly as good. My thigh joints, you can see, it doesn't hold the figure nearly as well. I mean, this one, you almost have to balance the leg or the body on the leg so that it's on a pressure point more so than just the joint holding him. So it limits the posability, which bugs me. And I don't know, it just it's one of those quality control issues that I've started hearing a little bit more people complaining about. So hopefully these don't loosen up more. But if you have a good technique for tightening up these thigh joints, let me know, because otherwise the figure is awesome. All right, so the sculpt on this figure, obviously it's the exact same sculpt as the basic red ninja, but the paint is obviously different. And the one thing I don't like, the eyes on this particular one, they're supposed to be orange. You're probably not able to see it through the camera, but it just doesn't quite work on this particular head sculpt. I almost would have said go with yellow instead. I don't know. Maybe a little white in it. I don't really know. But the rest of the sculpt, obviously, you know, it's very, very well done. The paint work, they did a pretty solid job on, I would say. It's got a little bit of a dry brush, kind of a whitish silver or whatever. Gives it a nice worn look, which I really, really like. I really like all of the detail that they've sculpted in. You can see there's 2 peg holes, which is awesome for a couple of different options with the accessories that we get. You can put them up on the belt, or I guess down on the belt. So overall, I'm really quite pleased with the sculpt work that they put into this particular body mold, which, you know, I really don't have any qualms with it. My main issue is the articulation being a little bit loose on this particular one. And if I can figure out a way of tightening that, I'll be happy. Let's do a quick size comparison so that we can get a little perspective as to how big this figure is in comparison to some common Marvel Legends. So this is the 2-pack MJ, Spider-Man, and Deadpool. And you can see that the ninja is considerably shorter than Deadpool, a little bit shorter than Spider-Man, but still pretty darn close to being in scale with both of them. And let's throw MJ in here just so that you can get a little more perspective. MJ is supposed to be a supermodel, so she's fairly tall. I think it scales fairly well, not as well with Deadpool. Let's do a little side profile there. She's not going to stand. We'll pull her out. Throw these 2 guys next to him like I did in the other videos. So you can see, I mean, he's a little smaller, but not too bad. You know, I'm really pleased with the sculpt on these figures. The paint I'm very, very happy with. With our Marvel Legends, we don't get a lot of shading all the time, especially throughout the entire figure. The sculpt-wise, Marvel Legends does a really good job with their sculpts. But I would say paint, they're not always so good. And this figure has both good paint and good sculpt, so I'm pretty pleased. Alright, so accessories, we get this alternate head, which is my favorite head of the 2 that we got. The eyes are painted so much better. It's kind of a goldish yellow, which I wish they had used that paint on the other head. But the sculpt work is very, very nice. Very clean. The paint is nice. I like the skin tone. You can't really see the eyebrows or anything, but it's a really solid head sculpt. I really like this one. So let's go ahead and pop this one off, and we'll pop this one on. Let's get this focused. There we go. So again, these heads, the one that didn't come on it in package is really, really hard to get on. I mean, like super hard. So be very, very careful that you don't break it. But look at this. I mean, this looks really, really good. This is a very solid head. I like this. This is probably the one that I would pose or display this figure in, because it just looks really, really nice. Alright, so he comes with this hood piece, and the other 2 that I got also get this same piece. It's a nice soft rubbery thing. And then he comes with an actual hood, which originally I thought this was how he put it on, but this is the correct way of wearing it. Both are painted very nicely. They have that white dry brushing, which looks very, very nice on this particular, this black. So let's go ahead and show you what it looks like with the hood down, because I really, really like this look. I think it looks very, very nice. I'm glad that the little rubbery piece is soft, so it's kind of pliable. You could heat it up if you wanted, if it's misshaped, but that looks really, really good. I think that is just, just gives it a little extra character. The hood, again, like I noted, this is how I thought it was supposed to be. Not cool at all. If I can pop this guy out. Come on. There we go. So putting it in this way, you actually get to see the face a lot more. It looks a lot better this way. Again, it's not my favorite look. I'm not a huge hooded ninja fan, I guess. If I had a little bit better lighting, we could see the eyes glowing through. And it gives it a nice menacing look. So, you know, it looks good. It's a good accessory if you need it for whatever reason. You've got it. In other accessory news, he comes with these karate chopping hands, which we've seen with all of the figures that I got. They're sculpted very, very nicely, and they have really nice paint. I like this really soft, pliable, rubbery plastic. It's very nice because then I know I'm not going to snap them off or anything like that. And then he comes with this set of gripping hands, which are very, very nice as well. They're also very pliable. So you're not going to break them when you're putting the weapons in his hands. I really like these hands. They're interchangeable with all of the figures, which is pretty cool. So it might have been kind of cool to get a couple of other hand options. We get these fist hands as well. I might have liked to have kind of just a resting hand, but these work really, really good, and they peg on very, very easily. They do pop off really easily as well because that really soft rubber, it kind of comes off pretty easily. So just beware so you don't drop them on the floor. Do a little robot dance. No, maybe not. So just beware that if those hands pop off, they're really easy to fall on the floor and lose. Next up, he gets this throwing dagger, which all of the figures that I got get this as well. It's really nicely sculpted, nicely painted. I like the detail. It's pretty simple, but I really, really like it. And these hands, the gripping hands, they are made very nicely so that you can actually have the figure holding the throwing dagger. Let's see if I can execute this. I think I've executed it on both of the other reviews. Come on. Yeah, that looks pretty darn good. Whoop. I got ahead of myself. Come on. Get in the hand. All right, well, I refuse to quit. There we go. That looks pretty good. I like that. I mean, I can't imagine anybody would actually throw it like this. Maybe they would. Probably not with a karate hand, but I think this looks pretty good. I like this accessory. I like these swords even more. These are really, really cool looking swords. The scabbards are very, very nice. You get two different length of blades, and then the scabbard just pegs into his back. But these swords are very, very nice. I like the silver, the metallic look. It looks really nice. I like the gold at the, I'm going to call it the hilt, but I think I get that wrong. And then the handles look very nice. They're sculpted very well. There's not much for paint detail on them, but I don't know if I really need them to have any paint detail. I like them. They look very nice. They're solid enough that I don't feel like they're delicate, that I would break them. So I am very, very pleased with that. And they slide right into these scabbards very, very well. There's no rubbing or excessive rubbing. It's just really cool. And so on the back of the figure, you have two options. You can peg them into the belt at the bottom, or you can peg them into the top of his back. I'm not a huge fan of the look on the belt, but you've got the option. And last but not least is the accessory bag that we get. And I've been finding with all of the reviewing I've been doing, these little bags are really nice to have because I keep misplacing all of the accessories. So throwing them in that bag is super nice to have. Alrighty, folks. Overall, I'm very pleased with this figure. It's really, really nicely done. The quality control issues are a little bit bigger of an issue on this particular character, or this particular figure. And I would be remiss to not mention the issues. So just know, hopefully, if you're looking to buy more of these, just know there may be some issues unless they note from the factory that they have fixed it. The cool part is all of the pieces are interchangeable. So this head is from the Deluxe White Ninja, and it fits on there perfectly. It looks really, really good. You can actually get arm packs that so you can pop the arms off of any of these figures and swap them with basically they're unsleeved or sleeveless. There's just a lot of really cool accessories that they made, a lot of really cool options. I'm really, really pleased with this line. Yes, there are some issues. Yes, it took a long, long time to get them, but I have a little bit different perspective on why I'm satisfied with these beyond just action figure requirements that I expect. So if you're interested in more of why I am pleased with these and why I can look past some of the issues that these figures have, let me know in the comments, and maybe on Friday's vlog I'll talk a little more in depth about what I think this project was all about, why I'm willing to look past some of the issues. So until next time, I'll see you guys later.